Here's your nightly ammunition against right-wing rhetoric. Get locked and loaded with Mike Malloy.
21 past the hour. Do you know who Charley Reese is? He was a columnist for the Orlando Sentinel newspaper. He is retired. This is his last column. I have read Reese's stuff, I have to say. Sometimes it was pretty much in line with my personal politics. Sometimes it wasn't. But I want you to listen to this one. Charley Reese writes, politicians are the only people in the world who create problems and then campaign against them. See, I would change that, say Republicans, but, Charley Reese is trying to keep it balanced, I guess. He goes on, have you ever wondered if both Democrats and the Republicans are against deficits, why do we have deficits? Have you ever wondered if all the politicians are against inflation and high taxes, why do we have inflation and high taxes? See, this is where I disagree with Charley Reese. We don't have high taxes. We have, historically, the lowest tax rates right now, income tax rates anyway, that we've ever had. Well, we've had in modern history, but let me continue. He says, you and I don't propose a federal budget, the president does. You and I don't have the constitutional authority to vote on appropriations, the House of Representatives does. You and I don't write the tax code, Congress does. You and I don't set fiscal policy, Congress does. You and I don't control monetary policy, the Federal Reserve Bank does. 100 senators, 435 congressmen, members of Congress, 1 president, and 9 Supreme Court justices equates to 545 human beings out of the 300 million that are directly, legally, morally, and individually responsible for the domestic problems that plague this country. I excluded, Charley writes, the members of the Federal Reserve Board because that problem was created by the Congress. In 1913, Congress delegated its constitutional duty to provide a sound currency to a federally chartered but private central bank. I excluded all the special interests and lobbyists for a sound reason. They have no legal authority. They have no ability to coerce a senator, a congressman, or a president to do one cotton-picking thing. I don't care if they offer a politician $1 million in cash. The politician has the power to accept or reject it. No matter what the lobbyist promises, it is the legislator's responsibility to determine how he or she votes. Those 545 human beings spend much of their energy convincing you that what they did is not their fault. They cooperate in this common con, regardless of party. What separates a politician from a normal human being is an excessive amount of gall. No normal human being would have the gall of a speaker who stood up and criticized the president for creating deficits. The president can only propose a budget. He can't force the Congress to accept it. The Constitution, which is the supreme law of the land, gives sole responsibility to the House of Representatives for originating and approving appropriations and taxes. Who's the Speaker of the House? John Boehner. He is the leader of the majority party. He and fellow House members, not the president, can approve any budget they want. If the president vetoes it, they can pass it over his veto if they agree to. And then Charley adds parenthetically, the House has passed a budget, but the Senate has not approved a budget in over 3 years. The president's proposed budgets have gotten almost unanimous rejection in the Senate in that time. Now, let me make an aside. The reason they've got rejections is because the Senate does not allow for an up or down vote. All the Republicans have to do is suggest that they're going to conduct a filibuster. And the Democrats wet their pants and run and hide in the cloakroom. Because Democrats in Congress are gutless bastards who refuse to stand up to the fact that every single Republican in the House and Senate is a fascist, and to fight accordingly. But I digress. Back to Charley Reese. It seems inconceivable to me that a nation of 300 million cannot replace 545 people who stand convicted, by present facts, of incompetence and irresponsibility. I can't think of a single domestic problem that is not traceable directly to those 545 people. When you fully grasp the plain truth that 545 people exercise the power of the federal government, then it must follow that what exists is what they want to exist. If the tax code is unfair, it's because they want it unfair. If the budget's in the red, it's because they want it in the red. If the Army and the Marines are in Iraq and Afghanistan, it's because they want them in Iraq and Afghanistan. If they do not receive Social Security but are on an elite retirement plan not available to the people, it's because they want it that way. There are no insoluble government problems. Do not let those 545 people shift the blame to bureaucrats whom they hire and whose job they can abolish, to lobbyists whose gifts and advice they can reject, to regulators to whom they give the power to regulate and from whom they can take this power. Charley Reese, former columnist for the Orlando Sentinel newspaper. Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? Huh? John Boner or anybody standing up and saying, well, the president's deficit. We'll be right back.
And every time you look around, well, it all just seems to change. But hanging on is easy when you've got a friend to call, when nothing's making sense at all. You're not the only one who's afraid of change.